Okay, boys and girls, today we are going to talk about subtracting expressions. Last week we learned how to identify like terms and to add like terms together. Today we're going to be subtracting them. So without further ado, let us get started. We're going to look at this expression right here, 15m minus the quantity of 4 plus 5m. So remember, when we see these parentheses right here, that means that we need to distribute. But you don't see a number out in front of the parentheses right here, do you? You don't see a number out there. But the number actually is there. Do you know what it is? It's -1 is sitting right in front of those parentheses like that. And then inside is 4 plus 5m. So we have to distribute that -1 and multiply it times 4 times 5m. And so this is how it goes. We're going to rewrite this expression, and we're going to say 15m. Then we're going to take the -1 and multiply it by 4, which is -4. Then we're going to take that same -1 and multiply it by 5m, which is -5m. Now we do what we were doing last week. We identify the like terms. Here they are. They are 15m and 5m, but the thing is the 5m is negative. Do you see that? So 15m take away 5m is 10m, and the 4 does not have a like term, so you just leave it like that. Boom, just like that. Here's another problem very similar to the first one. We are going to subtract the quantity of -9m minus 4. We're going to subtract that right there from 18m. So again, we have to distribute that negative sign. This one right here, we have to distribute that negative sign through to -9m and -4. So this is what it looks like. We're going to start with 18m. Then we're going to multiply that -1. Remember, we talked about that. Times, this is what it looks like. So we're going to multiply the -1 times -9m, that's the first step, and which is positive 9m. Then we're going to multiply the -1 times -4. Negative times negative is positive. That's plus. Now, let's identify the like terms. 18m, 9m, we're adding. So 18 plus 9 is 27m, and the 4 does not have a like term. So there you go. Boom, just like that. Moving on, another very similar problem. Let's tackle this one. We're going to take that -1 times 6 plus 2m. We're going to multiply the -1 times 6 and the -1 times 2m. And out in front of that is 9m, which we don't have to do anything with. So bring it down, 9m. Then we're going to multiply the -1 times 6, which is -6. And -1 times 2m is -2m. And now let's look for the like terms. I bet you can see them. It's 9m and -2m. They both have the same variable, which leaves 7m. And then the -6 does not have a like term. Boom, just like that. Word problems, our favorite. It's actually pretty simple. Let's see what it says. It says a company has 2 manufacturing plants with daily production levels of 16x plus 17 and 3x minus 5 items, respectively. The first plant produces how many more items daily than the second plant? Okay, so what we're doing, if we want to know, if the question is how many more in one thing or in one quantity than another, then we are going to be subtracting. Now, what are we going to be subtracting? We're going to take the expression for the first company, the first plant, and the expression for the second manufacturing plant, and we're just going to subtract them. So again, what was the expression for the production levels for plant number 1? It was 6x plus 17, and then we're going to subtract 3x minus 5. Now I'm going to show you a shortcut. Instead of thinking about this negative sign as being -1 and distributing it to 3x and to -5. What we're going to do is we're just going to change the signs, which is what you do when you multiply by -1. We're going to change the signs of the 3x and the -5. We're going to change their signs, and that's all we're going to do. So we're going to take our 6x plus 17, and then we are going to subtract 3x, because see how it's positive inside the parentheses, and the 5 is negative, so we're going to change that to positive. Now we're going to look for like terms, and we see that 6x and -3x are like terms, and also 17 and 5 are like terms. So let's add each of those up separately. 6x take away 3x is 3x, and 17 plus 5 is positive 22. And there is our answer. Pretty slick, huh? Okay, another word problem. Two communications companies offer calling plans. Company X, it costs 30 cents to connect and then 5 cents for each minute. Company Y costs 15 cents to connect, then 4 cents for each minute. Then it says write and simplify an expression that represents, again, here's our keyword, how much more Company X charges in cents for n minutes. So what that means is how much more expensive is Company X. So if the question is how many more, we are going to subtract, and we are going to subtract one quantity from another quantity. So since Company X apparently costs more, we're going to start with that one. We're going to write it in those first parentheses. And Company X, remember, it was 30 cents to connect and 5 cents for each minute. And minutes are in n minutes, right? So the variable's n. It's 30 cents to connect plus 5 cents for each minute. And Company Y is 15 cents to connect plus 4 cents per minute. Okay, there's our expression. We are looking for this in the answer choices. Do you see where it is? Give you a minute to think about that. You got it right there. Bingo. This problem continues and then asks the follow-up question. The expression blank represents how much more Company X charges than Company Y. So what they want us to do is take what we wrote down last time and just do the math. So we're going to take that 30 plus 5n, and we're going to subtract the 15 plus 4n, which means we're going to take 30 plus 5n, and we're going to change the signs of everything that follows inside those second parentheses. So minus 15 minus 4n. Now our like terms are 30 and negative 15, and 5n minus 4n. So 30 minus 15 is 15, and 5n take away 4n is positive 1n. So we will write that down in the blank. Another word problem. What? These are our favorite. No problem. So it says, I bet you can guess what the question is going to ask. It is going to ask how much more Jackson spent. So we're going to have two quantities. We're going to be subtracting them. Here's the question. Two friends shop for fresh fruit. Jackson buys watermelon for $7.45 and 4 pounds of cherries. Tim buys a pineapple for $4.35 and 3 pounds of cherries. Use the variable P to represent the price per pound of cherries. Write and simplify an expression. So Jackson buys a watermelon for $7.45, and then he buys plus 4 pounds of cherries. That's the cost of cherries per pound. That's going to be that quantity for Jackson. And then we're going to subtract Tim's quantity, which is $4.35 plus 3 pounds of cherries. Boom, just like that. Okay, so there's our expression. Now we're going to simplify it. So first we're going to take what's in the first parentheses and just write it down again. Then we're going to change the signs of everything that follows in the second set of parentheses. So since 435 is positive, it becomes negative. And since 3p is positive, it becomes negative. And let's look for our like terms. We have 745, take away 435, and we have positive 4p, take away 3p. So 745 minus 435, you can do a little scratch math, but that is going to give you $3.10. And 4p take away 3p is 1p. And there you have your answer, just like that. One more word problem, or at least one more. Let's look at it. A family wants to rent a car. Company A charges $75.50 and 18 cents per mile. Company B charges $50.50 and 10 cents per mile. How much more, there's our keywords, how much more does Company A charge for X miles than Company B? So we're going to have two quantities. One quantity for Company A minus one quantity for Company B. So we have 75.5 plus 18, I might have made these parentheses a little small, 18m, and then 50.5, 50, that's a point, plus 10 cents per mile. There. So we take our 75.50 plus 18m, and we change the signs of everything that comes in the second parentheses. That's minus 50.5 minus 10m. We look for our like terms. They are here, and 18m goes with negative 10m. Now, 75.5 minus 50.5, do a little scratch math, and you will see that that answer is 25. And then 18 minus 10 is 8m. Boom, just like that. Let's go with another word problem. A rectangular garden has a walkway around it. The area of the garden is that. The combined area of the garden and the walkway is that. Find the area of the walkway around the garden as the sum of two terms. Okay, so what that means is let's break this down a little bit. What it gives us is the area of the garden. This is the garden. And then there's a walkway going all the way around the garden, which makes another bigger rectangle like this. So there's a walkway around the garden and the garden itself. And so it tells us that the area of the garden is 2 times 6.5x plus 2.5. That's a point right in there. Let me try that again. 2.5. And the area of the garden and the walkway, so the whole thing inside the blue perimeter, is 3.5 times 8x plus 4. Okay, so let's distribute the 2 times 6.5x and times 2.5. So we're going to get 13x, that's 2 times 6.5, and then 2 times 2.5 is 5, right? And we are actually going to subtract that from, so let me go back a little bit. Let's do this distribution first, boys and girls, because this is the bigger area. This is the area of the garden and the walkway. So 3.5 times 8 is 28. Let's see, 24 and 4. So it's 28x. And 3.5 times 4 is 14. We're going to take that quantity and subtract. Now let's do this distribution right here again. 2 times 6.5 is 13x. And 2 times 2.5 is 5. So if we do that, now it's just like the other problems we've been doing. We're going to take 28x plus 14. We're going to subtract 13x and subtract 5. Now our like terms, you can see where they are, I bet. 28x and negative 13x, and also positive 14 and negative 5, which equals 28 minus 13 is 15x, and 14 minus 5 is 9. There is the area of the walkway. That's what we wanted to find out. Just the red, just this part right in here, this area right here. That's all we wanted to find. So we have to take the area of the blue rectangle minus the area of the inside rectangle, and that's just what we did. It's 15x plus 9.